The following is an instructional video for using the DIY Do-It-Yourself Annual Maintenance Kit for the F920 Check It, the F940 Store It, the F950 3-gas analyzer, and the F960 Ripen It. The kit will include a calibrated ethylene sensor, a calibrated oxygen sensor, and a KMN04 filter. For the F920 Check It, it will only include a calibrated oxygen sensor. To begin, power on the instrument and determine the firmware version. This is visible in the lower left-hand corner of your screen. To use the DIY kit, you need a firmware version of 1.9.6.3 or higher. If you do not have a firmware version that is 1.9.6.3 or higher, follow the instructions in your manual to update your firmware before you begin this process. All you will need for the installation of the maintenance kit is a Phillips head screwdriver and the external conditioning tube filled with potassium permanganate that came with your accessories when you first purchased the instrument. Turn off the instrument. Remove the rubber bottom cover. Remove the battery cap and the batteries. Use your screwdriver to remove the 4 screws securing the bottom plate. Remove the bottom plate. It's okay to keep it connected to the hand strap. The first operation is to remove the KMN04 filter. An F920 will not include this piece. Turn the filter counterclockwise and set it aside. The next step is to remove the oxygen sensor. Use the white bracket to disengage the cable and lift it out. Do not use the cables to pull the bracket out. With your fingers, turn the sensor counterclockwise to unscrew from the instrument. Take your new sensor out of the bag. Unscrew the plastic cap and discard. And now screw your new sensor back into the device. It's approximately 4 full turns. You want to make sure that it's tight, but do not over tighten it, and do not use any tools to tighten it. Just tighten it with your fingers. Reapply the cables and push them in place. Now to replace the ethylene sensor. With your fingers, remove the cable cap. Again, do not use the cables themselves to remove the cap. Now just lift the sensor out of the instrument and set it aside. Take your new sensor out of the packaging and remove the wire clip. Attach the sensor to the cap, aligning the 3-prong connectors to the cap and press it firmly in place. Press the sensor back into its slot in the instrument. Use 2 fingers to firmly seat the ethylene sensor in its slot. Open your new KMO4 filter and install the filter by screwing it in clockwise. Now, reattach the bottom plate to the instrument with the 4 screws. Once you have the plate in place, install your batteries, positive side down, and replace the battery cap. Put the rubber bottom plate back in place. And now you're ready to power on the instrument and set the gain values for your new sensors. Power on the instrument, select Setup, press the right arrow down to Factory Setup. Arrow right again at passcode and enter the passcode 1111. Arrow down to sensor gain settings and enter the sensor gain number from the packaging. In this case, the C2H4 sensor gain number is 1073. Arrow over, and change this to 1073. Arrow back. And now I'm going to enter the O2 gain number, which in this case is 1966. Once you have entered your values, arrow down to save and reset. Once yes, answer yes, and it will automatically set the annual service date to 1 year from today. Arrow back to the main menu, where you're going to perform a leak test. Once again, from the setup menu, arrow right, arrow up to mode, and make certain that you are in continuous mode. Arrow back right to the main menu, arrow to measure, and press the start button to begin measurements. Wait a few seconds to allow the pump to stabilize. When it stabilizes at around 70 milliliters per minute, you're going to place your finger over the inlet port and watch to see the flow meter drop to 0. Once it reaches 0 or close to 0, release your finger and the flow rate should come back up and stabilize to 70 milliliters. If this happens correctly, you can pass on to leak test part B. For leak test part B, you're going to use the sound of the internal pump to check for leaks. Simply put the instrument next to your ear, right next to the Felix logo, and listen for the sound of the pump. You'll hear the pump running. With your finger, cover the inlet port, and you'll hear the pump clicking. When you hear the clicking sound, release your finger, and you'll hear the pump running continuously again. With your finger, cover the outlet port, and you'll hear the pump stuttering. When you hear the pump stuttering, release your finger, and the pump should return to continuous mode. If you hear those sounds correctly, you've passed leak test part B. The next operation is to clean the system with the external conditioning tube. Arrow back to the main menu and attach the external conditioning tube to the inlet and outlet ports. From the main menu, go to Setup, arrow right to Mode, and to make sure that you're in continuous mode. Arrow back to the main menu, go to Measure, and start a measurement. Allow the instrument to run for 30 minutes to clean the instrument. After the 30 minutes has completed, arrow back to the main menu, arrow down to Setup, arrow right to Set 0, arrow right to Set 0, choose the C2H4, and follow the instructions on the screen. Press the Start button, and it's about a 6-minute operation to set 0 on the instrument. Once this procedure is complete, it will tell you it's finished. You can then disconnect the external conditioning tube, return to the main menu, and resume normal operation of the instrument. If you have any further questions, go to felixinstruments.com/support or call 1-360-833-8835 and ask for a support technician.